everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today is the seventh day of the um, American Cancer Society Read-A-Thon Challenge. Um, Links in the description below. I've been reading The Eyes and the Impossible by Dave Eggers, and so far it's been a very interesting book. This is a blind read. So I don't know what happens until I read it. So all reactions are genuine. Nothing has been rehearsed, for better or worse. Okay, so today I'm going to be reading chapters 12 and 13. And right now, Johannes, the dog, wants to free the bison because he didn't like it when he was leashed, and he feels that they need to be free. Admirable goal. But he thinks that the only way that they can truly be free is if they can get across the sea. How do you get 3 large bison across the sea? I don't know. Let's find out. Chapter 12. Beyond the sea. What was I thinking? For weeks I spent all my free time in my tree hollow pondering, mulling, contemplating, planning. All of these tasks are tasks I am good at. Not as good as running, no, but close, I think. I can mull. I can contemplate and plan. Yes, but planning and escape, this was new. I went to Bertrand. We could fly them somewhere, he said. I pointed out the weight of the bison, that they weighed a great deal, and he and every other bird did not weigh so much. But what if there were a lot of us? He asked. 1 billion of us. Bertrand is usually so practical and wise, he really is. So this surprised me. The idea of 1 billion birds carrying 3 bison away into the sky. I began to fear he would suggest the help of the ducks. We could get the help from the ducks, he said. Uh-oh. From then on, I planned by myself. I needed some time to think like I run, fast and straight and right, without any mention of flying bison. I knew this much, that we would need to do this at night. There were 4 humans that worked the bison pen during the day, cleaning and feeding and minding and generally being helpful in a way. Oh, and in the way. At night, though, there were only 2, and sometimes only 1, because one of the 2 often hid inside his car and stared at the small blue screen in his hand. Blech, the phone. So it would be at night. And then we would create a distraction. Yes. When I thought of the distraction, I laughed a little because it was such a good idea, but I loved my brain for thinking it. Yes, a distraction. That would be Angus's job. Angus would love the task, and Angus was good at it. He could tip over a garbage can or set off the car alarm or bite one of the human minders. Anything. We get that straight later. The point was that the humans needed to be occupied and ideally far from the pen. And when they were away, we would need one of us to open the gate. And the gate was so easy to open, or at least the humans had made it look easy with their hands, with their thumbs. Again, I thought of Angus. Angus had hands that were very similar in shape and dexterity. So Angus would have to open the gate, which meant we would need someone else to do the distraction. I thought of Sonia. She could do it. She could get a bunch of squirrels and make some noise, or break some things, or set off the car alarm, and even, in a pinch, bite a human or 2. All of these things were within squirrel power, so I figured distractions equals squirrels equals all set. Once the humans were distracted and gone, Angus would open the gate and we would move them out. Easy. Again, from the start, I knew that it would be easy to get them out of a pen. The pen is a silly thing, such a flimsy way to contain 3 mighty beasts. But then, once out, what? I would need to chart the best path to the sea. We'd avoid wide open spaces. We'd go through the wooded areas of the park to avoid lamplight or moonlight or roads. I started plotting the best route and was smiling to myself, thinking of them seeing the sea. And then I wondered, had they ever seen the sea? I honestly did not know. These are all very important questions he's asking here. And I like the way that he corrected his thinking. It's like, no, Angus the raccoon would probably be better at opening the gate than doing the distraction, especially when you got a crazy squirrel that'll do it for you. When he's asked about flying bison, apparently he had never seen Avatar because you got Appa, the flying bison. That totally would have worked. But alas, we are not in the Avatar universe, are we? No. All right, give me 1 second, flip page. Chapter 13. Wake up, said a voice. I opened my eyes to Bertrand. He was standing in my hollow, which he rarely did. He had said something once about the smell. This comment about the smell had been hurtful to me at the time, and he got upset with himself about saying something so callous, so he never talked of my lair smell again, but he never visited again either. But now here he was. You have to see this, he said. See what? I asked. But he was already flying away. Bertrand does this thing when he wants to show me something, where he flies ahead 5 or 6 feet off the ground, but just ahead of me. He talks and talks, so I have to keep up, and meanwhile he is leading me to where he wants to go. It is very effective kind of moving and talking scheme that he's developed. Okay, he said, flying above and heading ahead and talking down to me, but not in a bad way. I know how much you like the weird pictures in the rectangles, and I know you've been wondering what's going on with that building going up near the plaza. The building had been a mystery to us all, and this had caused some concern with the bison. For weeks, months, I ran by every day, checking, sniffing, ascertaining, contemplating, and mulling. And every evening I would go to the bison and report on what was happening. And every evening I knew nothing more. The building was going up fast, and there were hundreds of humans going in and out, clattering and sawing and knocking and yelling. And yet I couldn't get more clarity on just what the building was for. This lack of clarity was causing the bison to lose a bit of faith in me, I worried. I also knew that since my brief captivity, they and everyone had been worried about me, thinking I was traumatized or somehow affected or somehow less than I was before. None of which was true. I didn't think it was true. I worried it was true. So, Bertrand said, still flying above, I was at the new building just now, and listen, first of all, that thing's enormous. It's like the biggest building you or I have ever seen. Definitely the biggest thing in this park, okay? I never knew Bertrand needed me to say okay when he said okay, so usually I just nodded to get him to move on and keep him telling the story. There aren't too many windows, he continued, but there are some, and I was perched near the top, where they have those little windows so the sun shines in. Skylights, I said. Bertrand was so intelligent, so worldly, and knew more about the human world than all of us, but occasionally he did not know a word I expected him to know. I had introduced him to the word papusa, too. Right, those, he said. And I was there looking down inside, and man, there were like 1,000 pictures in there. And some of them were even stranger than the ones you told me about. I mean, it's like they're on every wall, and most of them look like they're made by loons. Loons really are strange, by the way. Ducks are irresponsible and self-centered, but the loons are just plain strange. And there are people inside? I asked. Just a few, and they're all wearing white uniforms. They're the picture police, like the park police, but for the rectangles. They don't do the walking by slowly that you say people usually do. They're not touristing, they're working. This news about the pictures didn't make me too excited, though, because immediately I knew this wasn't the kind of building where my kind would be welcome. Free dogs are not let into museums or any buildings, really. Not that we would want to go. Why would we? And with picture police walking around, the likelihood of me getting inside was dim. Bertrand doesn't always show it, but he is very intuitive and empathetic, and he seemed to read my feelings at that moment. I am telling you all this, he said, because I was talking with some of the other assistants, and we're going to get you into that building. Well, all right then. There's no way, I said. There is a way, he said. There will be a way. And we all know that you've been feeling off lately, what with being dog napped and all. So we're going to get you into that building no matter what. You'll love it and you'll feel completely okay. I'm sorry, feel better completely, okay? And this time I figured I should say okay, so I said, okay. Well, that's very thoughtful of them. You know, Johannes liked the pictures that were in the park, and that's how he got caught. And so maybe this would be good therapy. Excellent idea. All right, so that brings us all the way to page 84. We're over a third of the way done with the book. I'm so excited. So, hope to see you next time. Roma, Riva, and Krishna. Auntie Heather loves you very much, and I love the rest of you too. Take care, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.